What's up, everybody? Welcome to Variant, where we love comics more than Disney dominates the entertainment industry. As always, I'm your host, Arris, and today we're going to talk about one of my absolute favorite topics by counting down our list of 10 most underrated superheroes in comics. However, we also have more amazing stuff to give away, so let's do that first, shall we? Last week we gave away 3 awesome collectibles from Sideshow and Hot Toys, and it was a lot of fun. We had so many entries at variantcomics.com, and many of you added some really kind words with your submission. So thanks a ton for participating, and we'll love you back. But this week we're doing it again with round 2 of our 5-year anniversary giveaways. This time we've partnered with our good friends over at ThinkGeek.com for 5 different prizes, which for you means 5 opportunities to win instead of 3, which is pretty great because all these prizes are awesome. The prizes to choose from start with the amazing Dark Knight Returns Batman vs Superman statue, sculpted by Derek Miller and is based on Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns story. I'm not ashamed to say that I love this thing with all of my heart. The next prize is this ridiculously cool life-size BB-8 LED floor lamp, which is pretty much a must-have once you've seen it. The remaining 3 prizes on the board are a set of 6 ThinkGeek exclusives Guardians of the Galaxy Geeky Tikis, and a set of 3 collectible ceramic Star Wars snack bowls, and lastly, a Marvel Baby Groot USB car charger. Now, did you notice that I said prizes you get to choose from? Well, here's how it's gonna work. Our grand prize winner will get the first pick from the 5 great prizes from ThinkGeek. Second place will get to pick from the remaining 4 items, third place will get to pick from the remaining 3 items, and so on and so forth. But no matter where you land, you'll be taking home some geeky goodness. You have from today, July 20th, through Monday, July 24th to enter, and the winners will be selected and contacted on Tuesday, July 25th. So head over to variantcomics.com/giveaways for complete details on how to enter for a chance to win one of 5 awesome prizes from ThinkGeek.com. You'll find links for everything in the description below, and the clock is officially ticking, my friends, so happy hunting. Now, with all that giveaway goodness out of the way, we've got some underrated superheroes to count down, so let's get to it. In comics, there is a long list of characters that are commonly considered favorites amongst most comic fans. As such, heroes like Batman, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Wonder Woman, Superman, Iron Man, and so on tend to dominate most of our attention and conversation. However, there's an equally long list of amazing and even incredibly powerful characters that don't get nearly the attention or recognition they deserve from publishers or fans. And among them, there are a few who stand out more than others. Starting with number 10 on our list. Kicking us off in the 10th spot is a character some mistakenly still write off as Marvel's ripoff of Batman, and that of course would be Moon Knight. But this supernatural anti-hero is much more than just a cheap copy of the Dark Knight. He's a former Marine named Mark Spectre who was killed while working as a mercenary in Egypt, only to then be resurrected by the Egyptian moon god Khonshu under the condition that Spectre act as his Knight of Vengeance. Khonshu also granted him superhuman strength that allows him to lift upwards of 2 tons, along with enhanced endurance and reflexes, all of which increase with the phases of the moon. Moon Knight is also a highly skilled hand-to-hand combatant, as well as adept in a wide range of weaponry. The only problem is that he also struggles with multiple personality disorder, which makes him volatile and at times unstable. But as you may have guessed, it is also part of what makes him incredibly interesting and a fun character. Not to mention, he's easily one of the coolest looking characters in comics. Ultimately, despite Moon Knight's over 40 years of existence, cool origin story, and compelling character traits, he still doesn't get nearly enough love. Although I will say, it does seem like that's starting to change. At number 9 is The Question, originally created by Steve Ditko for Charlton Comics in 1967. Vic Sage, aka The Question, is an investigative journalist turned master detective and shaman who uses an experimental artificial skin called pseudoderm to mask his identity while uncovering major crimes and conspiracies. He's also one of the world's most formidable martial artists and hand-to-hand combatants. However, it's his genius-level intellect and detective skills that stand out most, as he's been shown to even rival Batman in those areas. Also, if you're thinking that he has a strange resemblance to Rorschach from The Watchmen, there's a good reason for that. Alan Moore actually used The Question as his primary inspiration when creating Rorschach's character, including his tendency to beat answers out of criminals. After Charlton Comics was purchased by DC Comics, The Question was given his own series and reintroduced in 1986, and has since gone on to be a member of the Black Lantern Corps and the Justice League. He's also made several appearances in the Justice League Unlimited animated series and Batman the Brave and the Bold. The Question is just a really cool character that I'm hoping to see play a major role in Rebirth at some point. Coming in at number 8 is Dr. Fate. This is another character that has been around for a long time, is immensely powerful, has played a huge role in several major story arcs in the DC universe, and is pretty well known by most comic fans in general. But despite all of that, the good doctor has never really been able to shed his second tier status. which is just ridiculous. The character is made up of two personalities, the human host and the 1,000-year-old Egyptian Lord of Order, Nabu, who inhabits the host through the mystical helmet. This, along with the mystical amulet and cloak, grants whoever dons the mantle of fate incredible power and magical abilities, such as super strength, invulnerability, flight, telekinesis, telepathy, spellcasting, pyrokinesis, and the list goes on for days. Dr. Fate has also made numerous appearances in animated and live-action series, such as Smallville, Justice League Unlimited, and Superman the Animated Series. So here's hoping the DCEU can find a way to give this awesome character some much-deserved love. Landing at number 7 is the weirdest character on this list, but also the most surprisingly awesome, and that is Squirrel Girl. Look, I get it, guys. Her greatest mutant ability and claim to fame is her empathic bond with squirrels. Okay, she also looks and dresses like a squirrel, but there's much more to her than just tree climbing rodents. The young Doris Green, aka Squirrel Girl, has enhanced strength, agility, and reflexes. She's so formidable, in fact, that she single-handedly defeated Dr. Doom while trying to impress Iron Man enough to make her his partner. Come on, not many characters can claim that feat, and though Stark still turned her down, she has since become an ally of S.H.I.E.L.D. and a member of the Great Lakes Champions, formerly known as the Great Lakes X-Men. Ultimately, she's a fun and very underrated character who definitely deserves more time in the spotlight. Okay guys, this one is kind of crazy because Dr. Solar's powers are basically godlike and could easily be compared to characters such as Dr. Manhattan or Silver Surfer. Yet I'm sure the response from many of you when I said his name was, who? Well, this very OP character was created by Paul Newman for Gold Key Comics in 1962, but has since been seen in issues under Valiant Comics, Acclaim, Dark Horse, and Dynamite. Dr. Solar is a genius physicist who was exposed to a large amount of radiation during a failed experiment, but rather than kill him, it gave him the ability to absorb and manipulate all forms of matter and energy, which essentially allows him to do almost anything. In fact, during his Valiant Comics storyline, Dr. Solar lost control of his powers during a conflict and inadvertently created a black hole that destroyed Earth. Yeah, that's a bad day at the office. Some of his other powers consist of flight, invulnerability, teleportation, superhuman strength, speed, dimensional manipulation, phasing, and lest I forget, he's immortal. Dr. Solar was last published under Dynamite Comics in 2015, and his original Gold Key Comics licensing rights were purchased by DreamWorks in 2012. Maybe someone will give this insanely underrated character a new life. Number 5 is yet another incredibly powerful yet underrated character, the cosmic entity known as Spectre. I really have no idea how a character that is literally the physical embodiment of God's vengeance on Earth could be underrated and unappreciated, but Spectre somehow just can't seem to get the love he deserves. Similar to Dr. Fate, the mantle of Spectre has been carried by several different characters since his creation in 1940, as he is a former angel who chooses a mortal person as a host in order to carry out God's vengeance. I mean, seriously, who doesn't think that sounds freaking rad? But don't get me wrong, as a founding member of the Justice Society, Spectre is a very well-known character, but with a list of godlike powers and abilities that just go on, and having played a key role in numerous major DC stories and events, Spectre should get a lot more attention. But Spectre is definitely one of the characters who could easily make his way onto the big screen in the DCEU. I know you can make it happen, Jeff Johns. Please make it happen. Coming in at number 4 is Wonder Man. Sure, he doesn't have the best hero name and his costume could definitely use some work, but this hero created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in 1964 is a freaking beast and without a doubt one of the Avengers' most underrated members. In fact, in the comics, it was Wonder Man's brainwaves that were used to originally create Vision, although Marvel left that part out of the MCU version. But that should definitely tell you something about the importance of the character. Wonder Man's real name is Simon Williams and is the wealthy son of an industrialist who was turned into a being of pure ionic energy by Baron Zemo in order to help the Masters of Evil against the Avengers. But he decided that being on the side of good was a better idea and joined Earth's mightiest heroes. Just a few of his many powers include energy manipulation, super strength, super speed, energy blast, healing, flight, and size manipulation. With a few adjustments, I think Wonder Man could get a lot more attention. Kicking off our top 3 is the King of Atlantis himself, Aquaman. I don't need to say a whole lot about this founding member of the Justice League, as he's a widely known hero in the DC universe. However, he is easily one of the most overlooked and unappreciated characters in all of comics. We actually just made this case in our Why Aquaman is Cooler Than You Think episode a couple of months ago. In short, while many like to make fun of Aquaman for being able to communicate with sea creatures, and yes, there were some pretty ridiculous takes on the character, he is really one of the strongest and most fierce heroes that DC has to offer, even up there with the likes of Superman and Wonder Woman. We're talking about a character character who has full control of nearly 3/4 of the planet as the wielder of Neptune's Triton, and at one point even went toe-to-toe with Darkseid, using his Triton to stab him in the eye. So before you go hating on the King of the Seven Seas, I suggest you check yourself before you wreck yourself. At number 2 is none other than Billy Batson, aka Shazam, also known as Captain Marvel. Once again, you would think a character that has magical abilities and can knock Superman on his backside would be utilized more often, but nope. Despite the characteristic of being a young boy who transforms into a powerful being with divine abilities whenever he says the word Shazam, Billy Batson is among the longest running superheroes in all of comics. Created by Bill Parker for Fawcett Publications in 1939, Captain Marvel was originally intended to capitalize on the success of Superman, which is why the two have many similarities even to this day. After the character was taken over by DC Comics, he became a member of the JLA and has since played a large role in many DC storylines. He's also taken on Thor in the crossover event Marvel vs. DC and gave Thor a run for his money. Some of Shazam's many powers and abilities are flight, invulnerability, energy absorption and manipulation, invulnerability, super speed, super strength, hearing, and energy blasts. He also possesses magical abilities. But even though his powers are nearly infinite, his comic book fan base is minuscule, so DC continues to relegate Shazam stories to backups in comic books and merely a part of a broader story. Which is sad because the stories in which Shazam is a main character, he is often the best part. Crashing into the top spot at number 1 is easily the most shocking character on this list, and that would be Jon Jones' Martian Manhunter. And why is he the most shocking? As far as powers and abilities go, Superman himself said that Martian Manhunter is the most powerful being on the face of the earth. In case you missed it, that's Superman who said that. Close the book. Point made. But even with all these awesome character traits, he is still too often overlooked and underrated. I will say that Martian Manhunter's popularity has been growing in recent years, and he's even made appearances in the live-action Supergirl series. But could you imagine a live-action Martian Manhunter on the big screen in the DCEU if they portrayed him comic book accurate, fighting alongside Superman, Wonder Woman, and the rest of the Justice League? Let's make it happen, DC. Please. But that wraps up our list of the 10 most underrated superheroes in comics. A couple of honorable mentions would be Beta Ray Bill, Firestorm, Ms. Marvel, Invincible, and X-O Man-O-War. Now, who do you think are the most underrated? Let us know in the comments section down below. Then head over to VariantComics.com and join the conversation about today's episode with the rest of the Variant Nation.
I want to be healthy, but I'm way too busy to get to the store and buy ingredients to make what?
You mean lazy?
I am not lazy. I have a lot of editing going on. I want to get a month. I want to be healthy, but I am way too busy to go to the store to get all the ingredients to make a nutritious and delicious smoothie. Enter Daily Harvest. Oh, magic.
Oh my, that's terrible.
What do you mean? That is not terrible. That is production value. Daily Harvest delivers perfectly portioned smoothies and ready-to-go cups right to your front door or desk. So what do you say we pick one and get to smoothie? Oh, magic. Now let's get those ingredients in there and blend it up. It's so easy. Man, delicious. Almost like it was made from a team of chefs and nutritionists. Daily Harvest has 14 different blends of smoothies, not to mention other products. Go to daily-harvest.com/variant or click the link in the description and use the code VARIANT to get 3 free smoothies.
First up for Wednesday, July 19th, we have Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man issue 2. A tech crime ring is tightening around Spider-Man. If Ironheart will stop beating him up, she may be able to help him zero in on the source. Here we have Green Arrow issue 27. Last issue we got the Green Arrow and the Flash, and in this issue we get Green Arrow and Wonder Woman, and it looks like she's not happy with Green Arrow. Now we have Poe Dameron issue 17. Black Squadron is back in action, and this time they're on the lookout for some new recruits for the Resistance. Next we have Invincible issue 138. Mark and his allies must fight to survive while the fate of the whole universe hangs in the balance. And finally, we have Batman issue 27. The war has spread to every corner of Gotham City, and while Batman battles back the forces of the Joker and the Riddler, an unlikely criminal becomes the pivotal key to its potential resolution. Well, that'll do it, my friends. If you like what you see, give the subscribe button a click and then click the bell next to it so you never miss an episode. Also remember that our round 2 of our Variant 5-year giveaway is up and running with ThinkGeek. As always, links for everything is in the description below, but I'll see you beautiful people next week when I talk about all things comics.